Welcome to episode number 130 of The Closing Table with Lawyers Title. I'm your host, Tamera Gaede, and today we're talking about roads, growth, and progress with NTTA right after this.
Gather round the table, pull up a chair. Real talk, real growth, we're taking you there. From the first handshake to the final key. The wisdom you need to set your business free. It's the closing table with Lawyers Title. Tamera Gaede, she's your main arrival. Yeah, Tamera Gaede makes the vision clear. With Lawyers Title, your best year's here.
Welcome back to episode number 130. Again, I'm your host, Tamera Gaede. My guests today are going to talk about all things NTTA. We're going to uncover things about the expansion and what's next as far as road projects that they're doing. So I'm very excited to introduce Brian SanFilippo. He is the project communications manager. And I also have Rachel Kulhavy. She is the senior manager of engineering operations, both at NTTA. So I want to thank them very much for joining me on the show today. Brian, Rachel, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, I'm going to dive right in, kind of girl. And so we've got a lot of things we're going to cover today. Today's podcast is going to be a little bit longer because we want to make sure we get everything out that we can to really educate the listening audience. So, okay, Brian, for my listeners who may not know, what is NTTA's mission and why was it originally created?
So NTTA we get this question a lot, and NTTA goes back to 1997, and really that's almost 30 years at this point, but the transportation challenges now and then are really similar.
Okay.
And so that's why we created NTTA here in North Texas, because traditional funding methods for roads are the gas tax. And so that hasn't been raised since the early 90s.
That's important for people to know because everybody is curious, why do we have to pay for the tollway? Weren't we told that at some point it would be paid off and we wouldn't be charged? As a matter of fact, I didn't talk about this. I told you I was going to throw stuff at you. But there was a video floating around on TikTok about the tollway back in the 70s, and it was a promo video, like a commercial for the tollway. Now, NTTA wasn't with us at that time,
It was
right?
the Texas Turnpike Authority at that point.
Texas Turnpike Authority.
It was statewide.
Okay. And it's a video of, I mean, you can tell it's from the 70s.
Yes.
And people throwing cash. You remember the days where you threw the coins? I mean, I think I could go about 40 miles an hour and still get the coins in the basket. It's up blowing through. But we shouldn't talk about illegal things. But anyway, so it's the 70s, it was a different entity. You guys took over in 1996, you said?
97.
97.
They formed NTTA to have a local agency because under the old model, toll dollars were going down to Austin.
Okay.
And so there's competition. So you don't know if you're getting those dollars back here for the projects you need. So
Interesting.
So they create NTTA so that toll dollars could stay in North Texas for our projects here.
Okay, and you said something interesting that the challenges or yesterday are still the challenges today. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so we talked about funding. First of all, the gas tax. There's more fuel-efficient vehicles on the road.
Ooh, yeah,
more
the Teslas.
electric vehicles. And so that's not just for building new roads, but that's also for maintaining all the roads we have in the state as well. So that funding source is for all our existing roadways.
Didn't they?
In the entire state as well. So Austin, Amarillo, Houston, they're all pulling out of the same funding.
Okay. And are you telling me the funding's just it needs to be more robust than it is?
It plays into a second challenge here in Texas is just population growth. How many people are moving here?
An unbelievable amount of people.
At an incredible
rate. What is it, like
rate.
300 people a day are moving to DFW?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, the numbers are just unbelievable. And so we've created a system where we can fund our own projects here in North Texas through those that choose to pay to use the roads. No tax dollars go to NTTA. There's no line item in the Texas state budget for us. It's just completely funded by those that choose to use the roads.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you kind of have to choose to use the roads. If you live in North Texas, I feel like, that's the only way to really get around. But, it's interesting how you explain where the funding comes from, because I don't know that a lot of people really understand that. So kind of NTTA, this was a confusion point for me. So if it was a confusion point for me, I think that the audience would really appreciate hearing this explanation as well. So let's talk about NTTA, TxDOT, and private toll roads. Those are often confused about who is over those particular kinds of roads. And there's more. So can you explain the difference between all these organizations in the region and how you guys kind of work together?
So there's a couple different types of toll roads here in the region. There's the express lanes or managed lanes that you see in the middle of a highway that the price is variable.
The variable toll road, right? Okay.
So those are either operated by the Texas Department of Transportation or a private entity.
Not NTTA.
No, all our roads are kind of controlled, what they call controlled access, where once you're on it, and then you can exit. There's no other, there's the frontage roads to the side, but you're on our roadways at that point. So if you can see on the graphic, ours are all the orange roads. Those are the roads that we own, operate, and maintain.
Okay, so up here it's going to be DNT, SRT,
Yes.
190. I call it 190. What's AATT? Oh, the
Addison Airport Toll Tunnel, yes.
And then LL, that's the Louisville toll bridge, that little bitty toll bridge. Well, it's not little bitty.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. On the map, it's a little bitty orange line. Sorry. Okay, so that's up north, and then down south, we're talking 360. What is that? Chisholm
Trail Parkway.
Chisholm Trail Parkway. We talked about that, and then MCLB.
Mountain Creek Lake Bridge.
Oh, I don't go down there that often. So, okay, so that really helps. The orange that's what you guys manage, and then the purple is going to be TxDOT.
TxDOT or private entities.
Or private entities,
yes.
Okay.
And so the big difference is on those purple roads you see there, the rates can be variable. They can change. Ours, it's a fixed rate. It averages out right now to about 22 cents a mile.
Okay. Those variables can really get you. I've heard stories about people trying to get out to Fort Worth and it cost them like $50, to drive down a little section of the managed lanes. And it doesn't help people drive faster. But anyway, that's a personal that's a personal rub. We'll keep going.
And I should say the one thing we do all share is that NTTA does the customer service.
Okay.
So as the regional toll provider, so that you're not getting multiple bills from different entities, NTTA does all the customer service.
Yeah, I really appreciate that everything's connected instead of separate bills. Like down in Austin, there's different entities that manage different toll roads down there as well. And I've gotten some weird bill, for an invoice for traveling down some weird section of, 130 that goes all the way around Austin. So
Your TollTag should work down there too, though.
It does, except for one tiny little section. And I got a bill for it. But anyway, figured out how to go around that. But anyway, I don't want to digress here because we got a lot to cover. But I think the explanation is very helpful because everybody just thinks you guys cover all of it, and TxDOT is a big part of the the overall tollway system in the area.
Right.
And private entities, yeah.
Right. They have some of the managed lanes, and then they also have a huge task of all the FM roads and all the highways.
The
that's
FM
all
roads,
too.
that was really interesting, as well. So having that education, I think, is a big deal. So the next question is kind of for both of you. North Texas continues to experience that explosive growth that you were talking about at the beginning of the show. So how do you determine where new infrastructure is most needed?
So NTTA is a regional partner. So we basically don't come up with any, we don't say, hey, we're going to put a new toll road here, but we work in partnership with the North Central Texas Council of Governments.
Okay.
Which is basically the planning organization for North Texas. That's kind of a simple way to look at it. And so I'll give you a good example. So recently, Tarleton State has a pretty new college campus in South Fort Worth, and Tarleton State went to the region and said, hey, we've got this new college campus. We'd like a connection over Chisholm Trail Parkway, which is an NTTA tollway. And so the region came to us and said, hey, Tarleton State is looking at this new bridge over the tollway to get students and faculty and visitors across the tollway. Would you be interested in participating? So sometimes we will get, based on, if a regional partner comes to the region with a project, The North Central Texas Council of Governments will then talk to NTTA about, hey, would you like to own, operate, and manage this facility? It's a little bit complicated because sometimes it's based on property agreements. So for the DNT expansion, which we'll be talking about in a minute.
Oh, yes, we are.
A lot of our property agreements actually have stipulations about NTTA must, operate this facility or must finish a facility by a certain date. So it's a little bit of everything. We are a regional partner, so the region comes to us. We have property agreements. And Brian, you can expand a little bit on, all the headquarters and everything that have moved in here.
Okay, but first, Rachel, can you say the name of that regional entity again?
It's the North Central Texas Council of Governments.
Wow. Okay.
It kind of goes into, we would kind of like to describe ourselves as a tool in the toolbox for transportation. The planning and everything is done by regional partners, and then they kind of look for funding. If they can't get it done through traditional ways, then they can kind of pull us off the end of the bench to come in and bring those projects to life. Because a couple good examples on that map we were looking at previously,
Right.
360 and Chisholm Trail both sat on the books for 50 plus years without funding. And then they were able to do it through toll projects because we needed them. We needed them in the region.
Interesting. I mean, I didn't realize how a project came to you guys. So basically, you're the implementer. You know, so you take direction from this regional council about where it's going to go next.
Right.
Right.
And then we have, and then of
you
course,
guys decide to accept the project.
everything goes through our board of directors. So we don't do anything without getting board approval. But that basically goes to our board, and then we will go through our own planning process, which a lot of times will include environmental process.
Sure.
We'll go through property donations, whatever it takes in the planning process to then bring a project forward for design and construction.
Okay. Interesting. I learned something today.
And when you talk about our board too, it's important to mention that every county has representation. So the county judges are the ones that appoint the directors. And so Collin, Denton, Tarrant, and Dallas each have 2. And then the governor appoints a 9th member to our board.
Okay.
So everybody is kind of working. That's the great thing about this region is that everybody works together so well. And that's why we've been able to withstand all the challenges and the population growth.
That's super interesting. Yeah. And speaking of population growth, we've had a big one. You just teed that up there perfectly for me. We've had a big explosion of growth up north, especially where DNT, it's Dallas Parkway ends currently. It won't stay that way for long, but we had the bridge over 360 open up. And then if you haven't driven up DNT lately through Prosper and Celina, you're missing a sight to see. I mean, it was like, okay, I think it was March or April of last year is when I really felt it kind of explode. That was how it felt to me. I don't know about everybody else, but that's when I saw the growth of construction vehicles, concrete trucks, all the construction lane blockages and things like that, because you guys were making some serious progress on that project. So can you talk to us about the DNT expansion north? Where are we today? And can you kind of give us a timeline for progress?
Absolutely. So we started the project where, like you said, where the bridge ends just over 380. We started the project in April of 2024. And as of to date, we have all of the bridge decks poured. And if you've been out there lately, we're paving the main lanes. So this is going to be
all the bridges are done.
All the bridges are done.
And yes, okay. It changes so much so quickly. And when you're driving by, you're kind of paying attention to whatever lane closure there is in traffic. So yes, I'm trying to visualize it, but you have had signs progress that X bridge is going to be underpass is going to be closed overnight because you're building the bridge over, right? So all those are done.
Yes, we still have some work to do, a little bit of work to do on Collin County Outer Loop and Punk Carter for the bridge rail and just finishing out some of the deck work. But what you will really see in the next year, so we're scheduled to be complete in late 2027.
How do I get that date moved up a bit to maybe fall of 26?
Wow.
We're good, but we're not that good.
We're good, but we're not that good. Okay, so did you guys hear that? You said April 27?
Late 2027.
Oh, late.
Late.
Oh. See, I keep moving it up in my head. That's me trying to manifest an earlier completion date. Jesse's shaking his head. Okay, so, I'm going to get it stuck in my head now. Late 2027. I noticed that you didn't say a month.
Correct. As engineers, we always learn to just say a quarter or late or early in the year.
I understand because people are going to watch this podcast.
Yes.
So I think being generic, a little bit generic in your timeline makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, so do you want to talk about the progression of the project between now and when it will finish?
Yes, because you're going to see more Dallas Parkway, which are the two frontage roads that go northbound and southbound. You're going to see a little bit more traffic congestion. You will see a few more lane closures because right now we are tying in those frontage road ramps. And so what that entails is we have to basically close that left lane and we have to keep it closed for a longer duration to be able to tie in the paving from the new ramp that we're paving in the middle where you've seen all of the trucks and the activity. Yep. We have to tie that into the existing Dallas Parkway, and then we're also adding U-turn lanes at some of the cross streets.
Okay, so, I'm familiar with that stage of the project because we lived through the expansion of the tollway in Frisco. So you guys had to close off exits because you were working on the expansion there. So I have kind of a idea of what this is going to look like. So how long do we expect that part of the project? So you're going to do each one at a time?
We'll do,
like you did the overpasses?
Mm-hmm. We will. We'll do each one at a time. What we're trying to do is we know traffic is going to back up at the intersections. And so what we're trying to do is keep those the left lane closure as far away from the intersection as we can. Sometimes we won't be able to avoid it just based on our new concrete paving because we have to pave up to that U-turn at the cross street. So like at First Street in Prosper Trail, Frontier, Light Farms, Punk Carter, and then Collin County Outer Loop. But what we're trying to do is we will finish one, and so we will have a left lane closure at some point, it's probably going to be a couple of days that we'll have the left lane closure just to tie in the new paving. So you will see a little bit more congestion on Dallas Parkway as we finish everything out.
The painful one is Prosper Trail because, and then of course, as you go further north, people fall off. I love getting past Light Farms. I'm like, bye.
It really
so
drops
I
off.
can kind of sail on home from there. But Prosper Trail is where the biggest part of the congestion is. But also to your benefit, if you guys are working on that stage now, then it's summer. So traffic is lighter.
It is.
It's when the kiddos go back to school is when we see the big stuff. But, I at Prosper Trail, I've had to back up so much that it took me one time 50 minutes to get from Celina to Stonebriar Country Club. And I was like, you guys are killing me. My patience level is not that high. But, this is, look, everybody wants to complain about the traffic, but here's the thing. If you moved to Celina and you didn't know this was going to happen, you didn't have your head up high enough, okay? We all knew moving to Celina or should Prosper and Celina, the level of growth that was going to go on. I think a lot of the social media conversations have been specifically in Celina about tearing up D&T or Dallas Parkway and Preston Road at the same time.
Yes. Because
those are the two major thoroughfares. And so having lane closures on both of those due to construction in Celina, I think that's a pretty big pain point. I don't know that there's anything to do about that, coordinating that kind of stuff. But I'm pro growth, and I know that this was going to happen. I think living through it every day is that's when you're kind of like, okay, I knew this was going to happen, but okay, let me ask you this. So will you be adding stoplights to those intersections before the project is completed. Additional stop. I know additional stoplights are coming, right?
Yes.
Especially over all the
Yes.
major. We're not going to keep stop signs for long, but will stoplights be added once the section is complete, or are you going to add those stoplights while you're still working on those sections of the road? Does that make sense? When I'm asking,
it does. So it's NTTA. We actually don't add. Operate, construct traffic signals typically. So usually that's through the city, but I will tell you that the city of Celina has a contract to add the traffic signals at Light Farms, Punt Carter, and Collin County Outer Loop. And I believe, so I don't think that it's necessarily going to be finished before we open the main lanes to traffic, just because that's the contracting for the traffic signals is through City of Celina. But I know the city is trying to work with us to try and get those traffic signals up as soon as possible once we are out of the intersection.
Okay.
Sometimes it's a little
Yeah, I
tricky
figured.
to add traffic signals while we're still under construction. We have a lot of work to do at those cross streets. So we need to add, we still need to add some paving. We need to go back in and add the pavers. We're still doing a little bit of excavation to get the new U-turns in. So sometimes we don't want to run into any more utilities. So we don't want the traffic signal conduits and wire and everything to be in.
That makes sense.
Our way. So yeah, it may not coincide exactly to when we open, but they are coming.
Well, personally speaking, what do I know? I'm not an engineer, but I feel like traffic moves better without the stoplights. So while you're under construction, it makes sense to me to wait. But I understand that's the city of Celina. I'll go talk to Ryan about that one. Can we talk about Dallas Parkway and FM 428?
Yes.
So that one's been slow. So there was a story on social media that was posted to our neighborhood Facebook page that you guys discovered some unidentified utilities, specifically with AT&T. Am I on the right track?
You are.
Okay.
Yes. So I'll kind of tell you what we're doing at that intersection, just so it's a little bit clearer why we're there. So under the NTTA contract, we do not operate FM 428. That's a TxDOT facility.
Yes.
But as part of our contract, we made agreements with TxDOT and the city of Celina that we would basically build out that intersection to the full intersection with the U-turn lanes and everything, so that eventually when NTTA comes back with our next D&T expansion project.
Yes, because next it'll be expanded to the Grayson County line.
It will. And so we didn't want to come back. We thought it would be easier for everyone. We didn't want to come back and do work on 428 again.
Please don't.
So I will say that the good news is that once we are done with FM 428, we as NTTA are not getting back in it ever again. Like, we're done with it. Okay. Now, I will say it has been a little bit painful. There's been so much growth up there, and there are so many subdivisions up there that a lot of utilities came in between design and construction.
Sure.
And we've had a little bit of an unexpected soil conditions up there that we're currently working on. And that's why the right turn lane there from northbound Dallas Parkway to FM 428 has been so kind of slow and painful.
Okay.
But I will tell you
it
that
helps to understand, because every day I go through there, I'm like, y'all haven't done anything today. Okay. Like, you haven't done anything. Like, do I need to get a shovel?
I swear.
But now I understand.
Yes.
Okay, now I understand why.
We are working up there. So we have had to work through some unexpected soil conditions. So we've had to change the design a little bit just so that we can actually get our paving equipment on that subgrade. Because it's really like we're in the middle of this black gumbo clay. It's this really thick.
Interesting.
It shrinks and swells, and there are pockets of it that we're not running into it all along the job, but there are pockets of it that are just really high, shrinks well. It's hard to work with. So we've run into a pocket of that up there, but we're working through it. And I hope that we will have this finished out for you this fall.
Well, the bigger issue doesn't have anything to do with you guys. It's how TxDOT paved for FM 428. I guess and this was pretty bad. I don't know. They used whatever they used to do the initial paving of the new section. They let cars drive through there before it was dry or something. And there's pictures of like this thick amount of gunk stuck to people's tires, and then it was getting kicked to people's cars and doing damage. There was a lot of uproar about how that part of the project was carried out and what kind of damage it was doing to people's cars. I just avoided all of that. Once that started, I said, okay, I'm going around and going to the outer loop and just going to skip all of this, because it was just, again, this is part of development, okay? And we all have to have patience associated with this because we all understood this is what was going to happen. But when it got close to like a one lane and you were having to wait until that lane opened, and I was like, no, I don't have time for this. So I'm going to just go around, and I've just been avoiding all of it till it's done. So that works too, right?
Yes.
I think that's an important thing though, to recognize, look, there's not just one way to get somewhere. Okay. So if there is a construction project that we do need to understand that it's taking a while to work through, there's alternative routes that you can take. I mean, I've had Waze reroute me I went down something called Legacy on the west side and went all the way around to get home a day. There's always a different way to get to where you're going, right? So this is all just part of growth. Okay, so we talked about, did we cover everything about the D&T expansion north? Is there anything else that my listening audience would find interesting that I didn't ask you?
I think one of the interesting things that just so you know, like how much dirt we hauled in there is we had about 1.6 million tons of embankment. So that
I don't even know what is that? Like, does that fill up AT&T or Stadium or like how much is that?
It does. It fills up
American Airlines Center.
Enough dirt to fill up American Airlines, people. Oh my goodness. Okay. That's
and we
a lot
have
of dirt.
enough miles of beams to get from the Celina Town Square roughly to the Denton Town Square.
That's a lot of road.
So it's a lot of road.
That's incredible. Okay. That's incredible. I would be curious about the amount of concrete. Like, how much concrete is there? Would that fill up AT&T, American Airlines, and a couple of college stadiums?
Yeah, roughly the same as our embankment quantity. It's a lot of concrete.
That's so interesting. How many workers are out there?
So on any given day, we will have about 100 to 150 workers. Right now, just on our paving train, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but really, if you're kind of thinking about this small area and I'm just including that's the contract laborers, the equipment operators. That doesn't even include all of, engineers and surveyors and everybody else. But just on our paving train alone, we can have up to 70 people.
Wow.
For one paving shift.
Yeah, there's a lot going on up there for sure. Okay, so
and one thing I would add, and Rachel can fill in details too, is now's the time about when we start getting a lot of emails saying it looks done. When can I drive?
Yeah.
There's a lot more that goes into it at these final stages that they need to get in place before they can open it safely.
Yes. Well, I haven't thought about, does it look done? Can I get on it? Surprise! I'm gonna start looking at it a little closer now. But I don't know that I want to take that challenge, because being in real estate, and we all understand in new construction that there's a lot of damage that can occur to your car if you get on something that's not done.
Absolutely.
Or even if you get into something that is supposedly done. So I think we're very experienced in nails and screws and all kinds of stuff getting in our tires. And so I think I'll avoid this. I'll wait till you guys give it the green light. Okay. Okay. So looking at projects like the D&T extension towards Grayson County, and like you guys are going to do some expansion for the East Branch of 190 also, you said? Okay. So Can you talk about how these projects are expected to make economic development impact and housing growth impact?
So I think I'll start with the DNT extension. I mean, I think we've all seen, the Ramble, the new Hillwood development that's gone in Celina that's, $4 billion or something like that.
Wait, what is it? I don't even remember. Is it Legacy? Is it that Legacy project? Don't look at me like that, Jesse. You should have already been Googling. It's okay. We have a slide up, so it's fine. But keep going, Rachel.
So I think you'll see the development has kind of followed the NTTA tollway growth. So
Sure.
we've got all the growth in Celina and Prosper, and then just looking at all of the headquarters that have grown up around the DNT, like we've gotten Toyota and JP Morgan Chase. On the other side of the Metroplex in Fort Worth, like I was mentioning earlier, we have Tarleton State University. And then to speak kind of specifically about the new Bush expansion from I-30 to I-20, we've seen in Garland where we have the Firewheel development off of Bush. We can expect, I think, just more of the same development. We tend to attract Class A office space around tollway development.
Yep.
And
I can see it.
And the cool thing is that hopefully we will actually have a public hearing on the Bush expansion to 20, and that will be later this year and we'll be finalizing the environmental document. So I'm excited to see what growth that leads to. But we've all seen how Forney has exploded.
Sure.
So I think all of the outer suburbs where we have some of our toll facilities, I think we can really see a lot of the growth. And
yeah, 100%. I'm waiting for all the things to start to make announcements or the signs on the side of the road of the DNT expansion.
Right.
We've had a little bit, a few stores make announcements, but it's going to explode here pretty quickly along the sides of DNT. And I think that expansion from 30 to 20 is pretty significant. So that's a big deal, and it's going to help out a lot of drivers. So I wish I was more educated on Fort Worth so that I could help deep dive into CTP a little bit more and kind of what that looks like. But I just don't spend a lot of time on that side of the Metroplex. I feel like from what I do know about it, that project was incredibly needed. The traffic is increasing really significantly on that side of the Metroplex as well. Yeah, I'm never going to forget this. There's no way. We had a real estate economist on the show. His name is Dr. Blake Bennett, and he said that by 2052, Weatherford would be the center of the Metroplex. Thoughts on that?
Oh, wow.
Rachel used to be out there.
I know. I mean, that's an interesting question to ask you guys because you see all of this expansion. So, and you know what's coming next for NTTA. So what do you think about that?
I think that is an interesting statement. I mean, I could definitely, so that's 2052. I mean, that's, 20, just a little over 20 years away. I think with all the growth that we've seen in the north sector, Celina, now Gunter, and then the southern sector with Midlothian and Mansfield, I could certainly see that being a possibility. I mean, it seems like on every region we've got just massive amounts of growth. So that is an interesting,
yeah, isn't that interesting? It'll give you something to kind of think about a little bit. Brian, I wanted to ask you, how do you guys communicate the complex transportation projects to the public in a way that helps everybody understand what's going to happen?
Yeah, so we drive in traffic as well, so we understand the impact, and I know I don't want to get delayed in the morning or in the evening, so that's kind of at the front of our minds when we're communicating out closures. So if you look at like Rachel's project specifically, the extension of the Dallas North Tollway and Prosper and Celina, we put out a weekly map on social media.
I've seen it. I see it. The Celina EDC puts it in their weekly publication.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we have a lot of neighbors that, see it and put it on our neighborhood page. So it's getting out there.
Good. That's something we started doing in Frisco with the widening, and because we were working in a lot of different spots and trying to keep everybody on the same page. So we put that on all our social channels. We share it with the cities as well. So that's a big one for us. And then when we have specific stuff like an overnight closure, or if we need to close an intersection, then we send out releases and traffic
And you have the big
advisories.
signs on the side of the
Yes,
road
that's
too,
a big
notifying
part of it,
people.
too.
That's really important.
Yes, and there's rules around that, and our traffic engineers stick to it about getting it out there well in advance so people know and they can see it and know it's going to impact them. But as Rachel does a great job with the crews, and they work really hard to do stuff in off hours as much as they can overnight while hopefully the rest of us are sleeping. They're out there
I
working.
love the overnight projects, Rachel.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
They do that as much as sometimes they just can't. Sometimes they
Sure.
do it during the day or it's a long-term thing. But yeah, we're trying as hard as we can to get that information out to everybody.
You know, I think something that the NTTA does, two things they do that you do exceptionally well is communicate about the expansion project and what that's going to mean to drivers daily. The other thing that I think is your response time to help drivers that are stranded on the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
I think that project or that project that you guys have where you have, what is your response time? We had a slide in the original presentation about response time, and it's fast. I mean, you guys are out there clearing it quickly.
Yeah, safety is a big part of our mission, and we have a roadside safety services group where they're patrolling, looking for people that might need help, or we actually have a safety operations center in Plano that's 24/7, 365. We have trained dispatchers there ready to help folks that might be stranded on the side of the road, because it's a really scary situation if you've ever been on the side of the road. And
Well, there's not a big shoulder to
No.
hang out on. So especially when you start traveling south on the DNT, getting into
Yes.
Dallas, that's
Yeah.
when you're basically cutting off a lane, you know?
Yeah, so we want to get you protection, or we want to get you off the side of the road as fast as possible. Changing tires, minor car repairs. They'll give you a gallon of gas. You can't call it.
I remember that.
You can't call
yeah.
every day though.
Right.
They keep a list. You can't jump on and get your gas.
Sure.
But they'll help you out if from that rare instance you didn't make it to the gas station in time. They'll help get you going. I've been out there with them a lot of times, and it's the work they do is tremendous.
Yeah.
They're great. I think
agree.
I don't know if I mentioned that the response time when you were asking about that. So it's from the time they know about you till the time they get to you is 18 minutes.
That's
a little
incredible.
over 18 minutes. And
That's incredible.
Yeah, every minute makes a difference when you're in that situation. So
Yeah. And that's a very scary job too, because people are zooming by you going 70 plus miles and 70 miles. You're supposed to only go 70 miles an hour.
Correct.
So we go 70 miles an hour driving past those trucks, you know? And so it's important, you guys, to remember to get out of that lane, give them the space they need to safely get these drivers back on the road. Okay. So we need to wrap up the show. I need to have you guys back because there's a lot of stuff we didn't get to today. But I do want to talk about that capital plan, Rachel. Can we end the show with kind of talking about this a little bit? I think it's if we could fast forward in the future, what transportation improvements do you think North Texans would be most excited about? Did I reference the correct slide to
You
talk
did.
about this? Okay, good.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of start at the top. So and keep in mind, these are all planning terms. So a lot of people, you don't really know what 4A, 4B, these are just our planning terms. But the basically is DNT 4B is going to be the extension of the main lanes from 428 to Grayson County. We are anticipating that to go under planning and environmental later this year, hopefully early next year based on board approval. So that's going to be really exciting because that will bring the DNT main lanes up to the Grayson County. And then, of course, DNT 4A, which is the one that we discussed today and that we're working on.
In length, because that was very important.
Yeah.
Not being selfish.
And then I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom on the left, which is our CTP widening project, which is going on right now. So that is in our southern section of Chisholm Trail where we had the original 2-lane section. We're actually building it out to the 4-lane section. So that's really important because Godley, Mansfield, everything has just, Burleson, everything has just blown up out there. So we're really excited about that. That's under construction right now.
Okay.
360T, which is our 360 Tollway Section 2, the expansion. We are currently in the planning and environmental phase, or not the environmental phase. We're currently in the planning phase of that. So we can kind of look out for that in the next 5 years. And then our PGBT 360 Tollway connector. which will basically be a giant bridge over I-20 to connect Bush to 360. We are going to start.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, so we're going to start planning that this year. That, of course, that one has a lot of coordination with TxDOT. So we're currently coordinating with TxDOT, Dallas District, and Fort Worth District on that. But that is underway in planning, so we're excited about that.
I mean, looking at this map, this is all very exciting expansion projects. So I think all of this is going to do a great job of connecting more of the Metroplex more seamlessly.
It will, and it really will connect our facilities a little bit more seamlessly as well.
Okay. No, very, very cool. And I said that was the last thing, but Brian, real quick, what other things can you use your toll tag for? Because I thought this was interesting. Little nugget, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, the toll tag's the easiest way, most convenient way to pay for using the roads. But also there's some things you might not know about it beyond just using it on NTTA road. You can use it anywhere in Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. We have a lot of Florida, Colorado as
interesting.
well.
Okay.
So if you're taking a road trip this summer, it's perfect. You can use your toll tag and just get one bill. Airport as well. You can use it to go.
Love it at the airport. Yep.
Parking. And then a new one that we just announced this month, you'll be able to use it at the new Universal Kids Resort in Frisco. You can use it for parking there.
That one's a good little nugget.
Yeah.
That you can use it for parking at the new Universal. What is it called? I don't know. We all just call it Universal.
Yeah, Universal Kids Resort.
Or whatever. Yeah, Kid Resort. Yes, there we go. That opens on July 1st. We're all paying attention to that as well. Okay, very cool. Thank you guys so much for being on the show with me today. I reserve the right to ask you back.
Anytime.
Yes, because all of this information is incredibly important to how the real estate industry navigates around in the Metroplex. And so thank you again so much for being guests on my show. That's a wrap on episode number 130. Again, I'm your host, Tamera Gaede. If you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So give me an opportunity to work with you on your title needs and make it a great day.
Gather round the table, pull up a chair.